Professor Radhika Somasekar.
Hello, sir. Good morning.
Thank you very much for your cooperation. Now, I cordially invite Dr. Sriman Venkatraman, Chairman of the Industrial Technology Institute, Sri Lanka, to deliver the welcome address. Over to you.
Honorable Akshay, Minister of Youth and Sports, Minister of Development, Cooperation and Monitoring, and State Minister of Digital Technology and Enterprise Development, Sri Lanka. Mr. Anthony Silva, Secretary to Minister of Technology and State Minister of the Digital Technology and Enterprise Development. Mr. Syed Junaid Makla, Secretary General, Pakistan National Commission for UNESCO, Pakistan. Professor Dr. Ashraf A. Salam, Chairperson, Comsat Coordinating Council and former President, National Research Council, Egypt. Dr. Bernardo Casaldilla Semianco, Managing Director, Directorate of Digitalization Technology and Agribusiness, and Director, Department of Digitalization Technology and Innovation, Indo, Austria. Mr. Ashraf Dial Brahman, Member President Committee on Emerging Technologies, Government of Pakistan. Mr. M. Muhammad Bashir Sai, Project Expert, Private Financing Advisory Network, United Nations Industrial Development Organization. Mr. Irfan Hai, Director Programs, Comsat, Pakistan. Engineer Cecil Kumarachi, Deputy Secretary General, UNESCO. Mr. Raula Sajapti, National Director, UNO. Professor Adi Sinaratna, Chairman, National Science Foundation. Asam Ranasinghe, Chairman, Sri Lanka Standard Institute. Additional Secretaries, Director Generals, Directors, other invitees, ladies and gentlemen. Good morning to all of you. I'm greatly honored and privileged to deliver the welcome speech of this important international conference of Industry 4 in the developing world, challenges, gaps, and opportunities. I'm so excited and thrilled to be part of the Comsat community once again, as I had close to 5 years of experience working with the Comsat as a member of the Coordinating Council from the time the Industrial Technology Institute was inducted as the Comsat Center of Excellence in Sri Lanka. I'm so fortunate to meet some of my former colleagues from the Comsat family, especially my good friend, Professor Dr. Ashraf Salam from Egypt, Engineer Irfan from Comsat headquarters, and some colleagues in centers of excellence via the online platform. This conference is an outcome of a proposal made by Commission on Science and Technology for Sustainable Development in South and organized jointly by Comsat, UNESCO, UNIDO, and Industrial Technology Institute, this Comsat Center of Excellence in Sri Lanka. I'm really proud and honored to host this event at my institute amidst the global pandemic situation, both in physical and online platforms. So, as the chairman of the host institute, I welcome the guests of honors, dignitaries from Comsat, UNESCO, and UNIDO, all foreign and local invitees, members from the Comsat Centers of Excellence around the globe, fellow scientists and technologists, and all other participants to the Industrial Technology Institute and the two-day conference on Industry 4 in the developing world. The objective of this conference is to discuss the implications of Industry 4 for developing countries like Sri Lanka, outline related challenges and elaborate on how opportunities that Industry 4 provides can be leveraged for inclusive and sustainable industrial development in developing countries. This conference will provide a forum to policymakers, scientists, technologists, researchers, academia, and industry enterprises to update and share information on the recent innovations and developments, trends, practical implementation challenges, and innovative solutions adopted for industry 4. I'm sure this meeting will build and strengthen the linkages among R&D and research institutes, academic institutions, and other stakeholders to enable them to best contribute to Industry 4, cater to information needs of the academics, aspiring to address the needs of smart science industry and industrial ecosystems of innovation and collaboration, and also to make recommendations to the policymakers and implementers for developing and executing informed policies and strategies to support the multi-sectoral adoption of industry, and also to provide guidelines to the labor markets on how to respond to the emerging technological needs as well as development of human capital best suited for Industry 4. The present governing board of Industrial Technology Institute, under my leadership as chairman of the governing board, proposed Industrial Technology Institute to operate under 5 platforms, namely Industrial Research, Incubation and Manufacturing Platform, Industrial Testing Platform, Advanced Scientific Research Platform, S&T Higher Education Platform, and S&T Business Platform. We are in the process of implementing the plan to meet the next generation industrial development in the country. In parallel to this, with His Excellency the President Gotabaya Rajapaksa's mandate and Honorable Namal Rajapaksa's leadership, the Ministry of Technology is in the process of establishing high-tech technology parks in selected attractive locations in the country and incubation centers in selected districts in the country. I am sure this conference will provide thoughtful inputs to implement in developing countries and also to the initiatives that our country has taken for development of next generation technologies within the country for an accelerated economic growth in Sri Lanka. With that note, let me wish you all a very fruitful conference for the next 2 days and a pleasant stay in Sri Lanka. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Sriman Kumar. My next invitation goes to Mr. Jayantha De Silva, Secretary to the Ministry of Technology and State Ministry of Digital Technology and Enterprise Development, Sri Lanka, to deliver the introductory remarks. Over to you.
Good morning, Honorable Minister Namal Rajapaksa, distinguished guests at the table, ladies and gentlemen, and a special welcome to all of you who are connecting virtually for this program. At the time when the Ministries of Technology, under the leadership of His Excellency the President and Honorable Minister Namal Rajapaksa, we actually need glad of you arranging a seminar and a program of this nature. So thank you very much for all who are responsible in making this event a reality. If I just mention about Industry 4, I would not go into the classification of what you mean by Industry 4. Actually, obviously, when we are talking about industry 4, there has been 1, 2, and 3. Today, we are talking about industry 5 and industry 6. People, scientists are pushing to bypass 5 and just go to 6. So in my presentation, I'll explain exactly the reason and in detail. But let me tell what we as a country are here to use the outcome of industry 4. I would ask all of you just to emphasize on this, that industry 4 or 5 or 6 is not a solution. It's not a stage of, it's very wrongly interpreted in most even international forums. We classify industry 4 on the available enablers. So if you take 1, there was 1 enabler, 2, another enabler, 3, another enabler, and now 4, another enabler. And 5, 6 would have different enablers. So we as a country, when we are talking about these enablers, we have to take 4 factors, special 4 factors into consideration. It's very appropriate to talk about the SAARC region, because we look alike, sometimes we work alike, and we have very common things that affect our life. We are very different to some of the other countries. So interpreting a 4.0, and if we are going with borrowed ideas, it will never work. You have to think about our culture. Our culture, we value it. It is the differentiator between any other country and us. Our social status is extremely important. Of course, our religions have paved the way for all of this. Our economic situation, it's absurd trying to borrow a model from a developed world and try to impose on us. Please understand that over 70% of our population are rural. And we are the 5th largest country in the world with the highest percentage of rural. India is number 1. So inclusiveness is a must. Many programs that we have done in the past, unfortunately, have neglected this fact. The present government is very keen. Indeed, it's a strong ideology or a policy of this government to ensure inclusiveness and to take whatever we do to the rural people of this country. I will not elaborate on what we have done and what we are doing. I will take those aspects in my presentation. But just to mention, we as some countries have a lot of things in common that we can share. You know that we had revolutions in the civil structures. We had civil work, irrigation work, what you call civil infrastructure, irrigation infrastructure. But today, it is digital infrastructure. Whether we like it or not, we have to accept. And plain truth is industrial 4 is talking about the digital infrastructure. A lot of people doesn't know this. So when we are talking about industrial infrastructure, the good thing is we can share it without any major cost. What Pakistan has done or what India has done could be easily adapted without any major cost into our Sri Lankan requirements. So these are huge because in the civil structure you can't do that. In the road infrastructure you can't do it. But that is why this fourth industrial revolution should be taken as one and especially within our region. We have, under the leadership of Honorable Minister Namal Rajapaksa, we have done huge amount of transformation during this very, very short period. I hope the Honorable Minister would be kind enough to explain few things. He has gone beyond, to be very honest, beyond fourth industrial revolution. Because as I said, today the world is talking about fifth and sixth. I hope that you will be enlightened by the Honorable Minister with a few words on what we have done. So in this forum, what I request kindly is to identify some of the areas, the opportunities, more than the challenges, the opportunities that we are having because of this atmosphere or because of this layer. We really need to exploit because we are a small country with super intelligent people. Our literacy rates are one of the best in the world. Conceptually, if you take the strength of a Sri Lankan, with one word if I describe, it is the ability of understanding conceptual design. A concept is something that you don't have at all. A concept is something that you have to build, and we are as good or better than most of the countries in the world. So please exploit this. Please exploit this. We are exploiting it. And I will explain in my presentation during this very short period what we have done that no government has ever done in the past history. You'll be surprised, you'll be happy to know that. So with these words, I wish your success for your seminar and your workshops, and I congratulate and thank you again for the wonderful event that you have done. All the best to you. Have a good day.
Thank you very much, Mr. Jayant Silva, for enlightening us with your valuable introduction. Now is the time for the address by our chief guest. It's a big honor for all of us to have the Minister of New Transports, Minister of Development Coordination and Monitoring, and State Minister of Digital Technology and Enterprise Development Sri Lanka, Honorable Minister Namal Rajapaksa, in our program today. I am humbled to invite our chief guest to come on stage and grace the occasion.
Thank you very much, Secretary, Chairman, ITI, DG, distinguished guests, and participants, virtually and also physically. First of all, let me congratulate ITI and the organizers for organizing this timely conference to exchange ideas and also to see how we can build our own ecosystem in the region where we all can benefit and also where we all can streamline our system, but we are already implemented. So talking of technology or digitalization and connectivity is something that world is moving very fast. And today we might talk about 4.0. In another couple of weeks or months time we might meet and talk about something else or something advanced. So we believe as a country we have tried many years to introduce technology to the administration system. Certain areas we have done it very well, but certain areas we haven't been able to implement it. So what we have realized, as our Secretary said, inclusivity of getting the rural sector included in the ecosystem. So which we believe we can learn from each other, especially in our regional context. Whereas he correctly said, we have our own way of working, and we have our own way of getting things done in this part of the world. So the challenge is how do you integrate that into technology. However, as a country, we have realized that it is right time that we move citizen services and government administration into technology. So, in doing that, we have faced many challenges. Of course, one main challenge is to introduce the legal framework or get it legally approved so that people will have no fear of using technology. Because as you know, for some reason, Earth has used technology or the systems most of the time for the wrong reasons. We start from the Arab Spring coming into our part of the world. So the technology and connectivity has always been interpreted in the wrong way. So we believe it is up to us to ensure that we introduce the legal framework and get it endorsed or approved by Parliament and make it law in our country before we shift into or move into major digital transformation. So as you know, we introduced the Personal Data Protection Act last week in Parliament, and we will be introducing the Cybersecurity Act and Cybersecurity Policy within the next couple of months. And also, there are many other laws that we will amend to make sure that we can accommodate this digital transformation to the administration system. So in that way, it's not only citizens' data that will be protected, but also the administration system will be more easier and accessible, easily accessible for the public. And on the other hand, of course, the infrastructure. The digital infrastructure is something that we are trying to work very hard, especially the connectivity, connecting the rural villages, rural schools with the technology. So, Honorable His Excellency the President has initiated Government Sannivedana project, which we are connecting almost all villages by end of next year, and also connecting 10,000 schools with fiber optic. So all schools will have, all the children, or students will have access to fast internet from anywhere in the country. So along with that, the 5 technoparks the Chairman ITI mentioned is something unique that we are trying to build an ecosystem where we will promote more digital nomad, and also where we promote more Sri Lankan and international tech startups to come and establish to come and put their startups or start working from Sri Lanka. So these are some of the key infrastructure projects that we are looking at. And also we are looking at very seriously on the blockchain technology. As we know, the world is moving very fast. And also we can see there's a parallel world being built with metaverse. So something that our generation, I wouldn't say my generation, I must say a generation little younger than me also, very much into it. But unfortunately, myself and my secretary both have to live in that generation when we are dealing with the technology. So we believe this is something that we are looking at very seriously. In fact, we are working on a couple of startups to establish the first the franchise cricket tournament on Metaverse. So LPL, Sri Lankan Premier League, will be the first franchise tournament on Metaverse that will come out in a couple of years' time from now. The preliminary work will be done this year, and that will be a system that is developed in Sri Lanka. So it's going to be a Metaverse of LPL that developed in Sri Lanka by Sri Lankan engineers. So we are looking at a very different approach, even looking at the digital currencies and NFTs as well. But we can see the world is moving very fast when it comes to technology. And introducing not only introducing new technology, but people are very much adapting to those sectors. So I believe this is a timely initiative by ITI and the rest of the partners to share ideas, to exchange ideas. Because we believe the SAARC region not only has to be connected by air and by sea and by road, as the previous generation spoke about, but I believe the next generation should think of connecting SAR to technology. So that is where future is, and that is what Sri Lanka is keen on. I'm sure that is what the rest of the region is looking at. So thank you very much. Thank you, ITI and our partners. And I'm sure the outcome of this forum, it will be benefit for the region. It will be beneficial for the member countries and also for Sri Lanka to share experience and get your experience in moving forward. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
So, thank the Honorable Minister for this. It was very valuable. On this note, I would like to invite for the remarks by PNC representative Mr. Syed Junaid Akhtar, Secretary General of Pakistan National Commission to UNESCO PNCU. The stage is yours, sir.
Honorable Minister, Respected Secretary, my colleagues from Pakistan, or representatives from Pakistan High Commission in Colombo. I welcome all of you to this conference and a very warm good morning. On behalf of the Pakistan National Commission for UNESCO, I extend my warm felicitation to the Commission on Science and Technology for Sustainable Development in South. The United Nations Industrial Development Organization (UNIDO) and the Industrial Technology Institute for organizing the International Conference on Industry 4.0 in the Developing World, Challenges, Gaps, and Opportunities. UNESCO feels, Pakistan National Commission for UNESCO feels privileged to be able to contribute towards organizing of this significant conference under the framework of COMSET's UNESCO South-South Regional Technical Cooperation Program. I am grateful to all the subject specialists, policymakers, academicians, and investors who have taken part in this event. As I mentioned earlier, we are honored to have Honorable Minister of Youth and Sports, Minister of Development, Coordination and Monitoring, and State Minister of Digital Technology and Enterprise Development, Government of Sri Lanka, Mr. Namal Rajapaksa with us. His presence today shows the importance of the area being covered by this conference. Ladies and gentlemen, artificial intelligence, machine learning, robotics, 3D printing, the Internet of Things, blockchains, quantum computers, and their integration with biotechnology, nanotechnology, and cognitive, social, and humanitarian sciences are propelling the fourth industrial revolution forward. Countries that lead in multiple frontier technology will have a competitive advantage over those that lag in science, technology, and innovation. To take advantage of the technologies offered by Industry 4.0, the developing countries must learn rapidly and must invest appropriately to strengthen their science, technology, and innovative infrastructure. At the same time, conducive policies are to be put in place by the governments. Ladies and gentlemen, collective actions is vital for ensuring that Industry 4.0 and related technologies create prosperity for all people and nations. International organizations such as UNESCO and COMSET provide important forums and opportunities for exchange of knowledge, human and economical resources among developing countries for collaborative socio-economic development. Pakistan National Commission for UNESCO is glad to promote partnerships and collaborations between UNESCO and COMSET for the plastic living of common member countries in the emerging field of science and technology, and we continue to do so in the future as well. I once again thank COMSET, UNIDO, and ITI for joining hands with UNESCO PNC for organizing this very important international conference. I thank the organizers for making excellent arrangements for holding this event and making this day of forum yes comfortable and productive. Thank you very much.
So, thank you, sir, for giving speech. So now I would like to invite Dr. Bernardo Castillo Sarmiento, the Managing Director of Directorate of Digitalization, Technology and Agribusiness, and he's also serving as the Director of Department of Digitalization, Technology and Innovation, United Australia. So we warmly welcome for the keynote address, the topic is International Record Maker.
Those are new drivers in the third industrial revolution, producing technological paradigm shift, modifying production techniques and policies. 4IR technologies can play a key role in bringing prosperity, meeting the needs of the people, in protecting the planet, and supporting the 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development Goals. Manufacturing is an essential part of the government agenda in Sri Lanka because it creates jobs, drives technological innovation, and generates long-lasting economic activity than any other sectors. Global initiatives are already in place, such as Germany's Industry 4.0, France's Industrie du Futur, China's Made in China 2025, and many countries are developing their strategies. So we believe Sri Lanka can enhance its manufacturing under the leadership of the Ministry of Industries and Production. Excellencies, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, at UNIDO, we believe that smart factories are drivers for innovation, while digitalization allows for new business models, products, and processes. Industry 4.0, through these smart factories, has the potential to improve productivity and competitiveness, increase energy and resource efficiency, and hence protect the environment. 4IR can further enable the transition to a circular economy in which the end-of-life products are reused, remanufactured, and recycled, the circular economy. Taken together, these developments would lead to the emergence of a more sustainable production and consumption pattern and could thus provide opportunities for developed and developing countries like Sri Lanka to achieve economic growth and sustainable development. On manufacturing, UNIDO has been preparing a digital transformation and fourth industrial revolution strategic framework with the main goal of making this revolution, the fourth industrial revolution, work for all. The framework is aligned with UNIDO's inclusive and sustainable industrial development paradigm, ISID, and supports in particular the achievement of the SDGs, SDG 9. The digital transformation and 4IR framework envisage major outcomes: digital transformation at digital firm level, enhanced skills and capacity, innovation ecosystems, partnerships and investment, and better governance for technology policies. Excellencies, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, it is noted that developing countries should keep improving on mastering new technologies to reduce productivity gaps and avoid wide differentials in terms of national progress. At UNIDO, we support developing countries to face the challenges of the adoption of frontier technologies. And apart from Industry 4.0, the other remarkable change is Society 5.0, which will also reshape countries in the way we live, buy, work, and commute. This is also an opportunity from countries like Sri Lanka to combine digital transformation with prosperity for the citizens. I appreciate the resilience and courage shown by the people of Sri Lanka amid the COVID-19 pandemic, and I am very hopeful that Sri Lanka will take full benefit of digital transformation and the fourth industrial revolution approach in the recovery process. From UNIDO, we look forward towards supporting these efforts. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Doctor, for informative address. So now it is the time for us to go for remarks by COMSAT's representative, Professor Ashraf Shawlan. He is the chairperson of COMSAT's coordinating council and also serving as the former president. He was the former president of National Research in Egypt.
Ladies and
And his
gentlemen,
will also be played as a record.
good morning. I am immensely pleased to address to you on behalf of the Commission on Science and Technology for Sustainable Development in the South, COMSATS. I express my sincere gratitude to the Industrial Technology Institute, ITI, Sri Lanka, the United Nations Educational, Scientific and Cultural Organization, UNESCO, and the United Nations Industrial Development Organization, UNIDO, for collaborating with COMSATS to organize the International Conference on Industry 4.0 in the Developing World, Challenges, Gaps, and Opportunities, which is being held under the framework of COMSAT's UNESCO South-South Regional Technical Cooperation Program. The conference would serve as a forum for knowledge diffusion, networking, creativity, innovations, and collaboration in the context of Industry 4.0 in the developing world. I extend a warm welcome to all distinguished subject experts, policymakers, scientists, academicians, and industrials who have joined us in this event from around the world. Ladies and gentlemen, Industry 4.0 has evolved and taken root in many nations in tandem with the rapid growth of artificial intelligence, cyber physical systems, big data analytics, cloud computing, fintech, Internet of Things, etc. Many developed countries have started making use of Industry 4.0 to improve their manufacturing enterprises and prepare for future competition. Germany, for example, was the first to propose the concept of Industry 4.0 focused on technical excellence. The United States, on the other hand, aims to expand its strengths in IT to robotization, which it refers to as the industrial internet. Switzerland has proposed Industry 2025. Singapore has established its first Asian Innovation Center for Operations, as well as the Industry 4.0 Accelerator Program. Unfortunately, despite possessing the necessary potential in Industry 4.0, most developing countries have not shown a concerted effort to adopt it, and only few of these countries have taken initiatives in this regard. In order to compete in the era of Industry 4.0, developing countries will need to establish new strategies and expand the skills, expertise, and knowledge needed for digital transformation that will allow them to leapfrog existing stages of industrial and infrastructure development. Ladies and gentlemen, the fourth industrial revolution is an excellent opportunity to unite global communities, to build sustainable economies, to adapt and modernize models, and to commit to value-based leadership of emerging technologies. Industry 4.0 has the potential to raise global income levels and improve the quality of life for population around the world. COMSATS, in its capacity as intergovernmental international organization, has been making great efforts towards the capacity building of the developing countries of South, and triangular cooperation in the fields of science and technology. ComSats has 27 member states and a network of 24 international science and technology centers of excellence. The Democratic Socialist Republic of Sri Lanka is an esteemed member state of ComSats, and ITI is affiliated with ComSats network of international science and technology centers of excellence. ITI has been a vital resource for the Commission in conducting various capacity building programs in Sri Lanka and other member countries. Its commitment towards ComSats Commission is highly appreciated. I would like to thank ITI once more for hosting this important event, which helped us comprehend the notion of the fourth industrial revolution and the skills we will need to prepare ourselves as individuals, organizations, and societies to face this inevitable change. I also thank UNIDO, UNESCO, and Pakistan National Commission for UNESCO, PNCU, for their vital role in organizing this conference. I am certain that the participation will be very important, and the participants will find presentations, commitment, experts, and subsequent panel discussions fruitful. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Ashraf Shaman. My next kind invitation goes to Professor Radhika Samasekar, Director General of the Industrial Technology Institute, Sri Lanka, to deliver the vote of thanks. Honorable Nama Rajapaksa, Minister of Youth and Sports, Minister of Development, Coordination and Monitoring, and State Minister of Digital Technology and Enterprise Development, Sri Lanka. Mr. Janathan Silva, Secretary Minister of Technology and State Minister of Digital Technology and Enterprise Development, Sri Lanka. Mrs. Asma Kamal, Trade and Investment Attaché, High Commission of Pakistan, Colombo. Mr. Saeed Junaid Akla, Secretary General, Pakistan National Commission for UNESCO, Pakistan. Secretary General, Sri Lanka National Commission for UNESCO. Mr. Bernardo Presidenta Salamendo, Managing Director, Department of Digitalization, Technology and Innovation, UNIDO, Austria. Mr. Hamad Bashir Saeed, Project Expert, UNIDO, Pakistan. Mrs. Humaria Ahmad, Active Executive Director, ComSats. Professor Ashraf Salam, Chairperson, ComSat Coordination Council. Dr. Sirimal Premkumar, Chairman of the ITI and Board of Management of ITI. Distinguished delegation members from Pakistan, Additional Secretaries, Chairman, Director General, Directors of Institutes, Management of the ITI and ITI staff, ComSat Secretariat staff, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. Very good morning to you all. I consider it an honor and privilege to propose the vote of thanks at the inauguration ceremony of the International Symposium on Industry 4 in the Developing World, Challenges, Gaps and Opportunities. On behalf of ITI, I am honored to express my sincere thanks and gratitude to Honorable Nama Rajapaksa, Minister of Youth and Sports, Minister of Development, Coordination and Monitoring, and State Minister of Digital Technology and Enterprise Development, Sri Lanka, for gracing this occasion as a chief guest. Sir, your remarks on the fourth industrial revolution for developing countries were a great inspiration to us. Mr. Janathan Silva, Secretary of Minister of Technology and State Minister of Digital Technology and Enterprise Development, Sri Lanka, I must mention our deep sense of appreciation for being presently at today and addressing the gallery. Mr. Saeed Junaid Akla, Secretary General, Pakistan National Commission for UNESCO. We are extremely grateful to you, sir, for being with us today for the inauguration ceremony of the International Conference. And your remarks
for gallery. I also wish to thank Pakistan National Commission for UNESCO for the financial grant for this international event. My special and sincere thanks to Dr. Bernardo Caprella from Miludo, Austria for your keynote address and Professor Ashraf Shalan for your address from concept for the inaugural ceremony participants. My special and sincere thanks to distinguished delegation from Pakistan, Mr. Muhammad Bashir Sahib, Mr. Asasi Rahman and Sophia Asif for your presence here today to address the technical sessions. I also wish to thank Mrs. Asma Kamal and other officials from High Commission of Pakistan, Colombo, and Ministry officials, Sri Lanka and Pakistan, local and international special invitees for graciously accepting our invitation and participating in this inaugural ceremony. My sincere gratitude goes to Dr. Prema Kumar, Chairman of ITI and ITI Board of Management for their support and guidance. My special and sincere thanks also goes to Mrs. Kumari Ahmed, Acting Executive Director, COMSET, Pakistan, and the event organizing committee of COMSET, Mr. Ifran Hari, Dr. Umar Barok, and COMSET staff who worked hard to make this international event a success within such a short period of time. My special and sincere thanks also go to the event organizing committee of Industrial Technology Institute, ITI, and ITI staff for their immense support to make this international conference a success. I must also thank Dr. Vanila Sinha, Director of Electrotechnology Laboratories and Computing of Industrial Technology Institute for their hard work and dedication for organizing this event on online platform as well. My special thanks to all the resource persons and panel members, local and international, who will participate in person and online platform for technical sessions which we deliberate in the next 2 days. Last but not least, I would like to thank all who helped in numerous ways to organize this event and local and international participants for their active participation. Thank you once again. Have a great day. Thank you.
So thank you very much, madam. Lot of thanks. So now we have come to the last segment of the inaugural program, that is taking a group photograph. So we warmly invite the entire audience to join for the photograph. So we will arrange a screenshot for online participants as well. Thank you very much.
Good.
Maybe okay.
Thank you very much for your cooperation. So we are going to have a 30-minute break for our coffee, so the guests will be taken to the cafeteria for refreshments. By 11:30 AM, we will be starting the technical sessions. So be here at the auditorium by 9. Thank you very much.
और अभी आप
is the technical program. Today is the first day of the technical program and it will be held in 3 sessions. The first session will be held from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. The second session will be held from 2:30 p.m. to 4 p.m. And the third session will be held from 4 p.m. to 5 p.m. Moving on to the session 1. Introduction to the fourth industrial revolution, implications for developing countries. I would like to briefly introduce our first speaker, Mr. Jayantha De Silva, Secretary to the Ministry of Technology, Sri Lanka. Mr. Jayantha De Silva has over 30 years of experience in the tech industry with extensive exposure in national policy making and strategies for knowledge services with hands-on experience in large projects globally. Currently serving as the Secretary to the Ministry of Technology and Secretary to the State Ministry of Digital Technology and Enterprise Development of the Government of Sri Lanka. He served as the Chairman and Board Director of the Information and Communication Technology Agency of Sri Lanka, a founder member and former Chairman of the Sri Lanka Association of Software and Service Companies, former Chairman of the Software Exporters Association, Chairman of British Computer Society Sri Lanka, and a member of the board of the University of Colombo School of Computing. Served in the advising panel to the government of Sri Lanka in the formulation of national level policies related to the ICT industry of Sri Lanka. Co-founder and managing director of IFS Sri Lanka Limited, served as the president and CEO of IFS Sri Lanka. Twice won the most valuable player of IFS. A postgraduate diploma holder from the International Statistical Program Center, Washington, D.C., fellow of the DCS, the Chartered Institute for IT and the Chartered IT Professional, recipient of the ICT Lifetime Achievers Award, Most Outstanding Contribution Award for services to the software industry in Sri Lanka, awarded at the National Best College Software Awards in 2011. I warmly welcome Mr. Jayantha De Silva on stage to speak about the fourth industrial revolution, developing countries' perspectives.
Good morning to all of you again. Thank you, Janaki, for the long description of my profile. But of course, come from private sector, worked for private sector for a long time. And now back in, I was earlier working for the public sector long ago. I joined private sector and then back again to face the public sector. The challenges that we face obviously in the public sector is quite different to that of the private sector. Of course, we as human beings adapt to it. It's the same thing. Adoption is the main word for Industrial 4. Let me first discuss a little bit of this concept of Industrial 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Some of you may know better than me, but please bear with me. But actually, human beings has the natural tendency, obviously, to follow something while few would create it. As you know, let's be very honest about this. Today, all of you who are here are more the creators who get involved in R&D, who actually adopt systems and create technologies, we help in R&D. But most of the people in the world, or especially in a country like ours, they follow us. So hence, we have a huge responsibility of creating the policies of the government and also ensure that when they follow us, we develop and we establish the right policies. Successive governments in Sri Lanka since 70 years of independence, have actually, to be very honest, have tried and tried to bring in a lot of good things into our country. A very small economy in the region, a very small country compared to many countries around. We are big brothers around, so we are just about 20 million people. But the biggest problem that we have faced is the non-inclusiveness. Non-inclusiveness is as good as not doing that. So some of the programs that successive governments have adopted has actually not given me desired results. I come from a very village, remotest of a village in Sri Lanka, where sometimes you don't think, I didn't have electricity, telephones, no buses, you have to walk long distances. So I have tasted the village a lot. I'm still tasting the village, and I really treasure it. But today I've come into this position, and of course I see a lot of people around me who are very learned people. So how does 4.0 that we are talking, how should we ensure that this goes to the village, or the good things of 4.0 is seeped down to the ground level? First of all, let me talk about the pre 1.0, where people used to do all their work through their energy, used mostly animals. So this is what we call the pre 1.0. So people were using mostly their energy, but very honestly, you have to take the versions together. So since then, we came out with 1.0, where we shifted from this, because man has a natural tendency to go and do things better and easier. So then, we came with water power. We came out with the locomotive engines. We started mass production also. So this was classified at 1.0. I'm not going into detail because we are not that interested in this particular program. So 1.0, there was a huge shift. So what were the enablers of 1.0? So this is the one thing that you have to ask. So the 2.0 was mainly what? It was electricity. Having electricity changed the whole world. I don't have to explain that, right? Because obviously, you can imagine now without electricity in this country, we have a major problem at the moment. So electricity was the enabler. And by that, there were things happening around it. So the enabler was the electricity. You must understand that. But intelligent people start using electricity, started the motor, right? So motor, as you know, right around here, there are several motors working, but we don't even care if the AC works on motor, fan works on the motor. So all this started, and obviously, I don't have to explain. What is the third one? Third one was the computer, the chip. Actually, it's not the computer, it's the chip. So by having the chip, I don't have to talk about it. How the computer changed our lives. It changed completely. But one of the drawbacks, or one of the things that when you compare today to third, is actually it was static. It was called a desktop. So you had a desktop computer, you are static, you come here, you work. I can still remember when we go into the computer room, we had to remove our shoes, we had to wash our face also like, wash our hands and, do a lot of things. And we were the kings actually. We were like kings. So we used to stop them, don't come to the computer room, right? And likewise, we had authority, right? But it was desktop, so we had one computer room and people used to come there. So no mobility. Now I will go and explain the fourth one, which we are interested in today, and how we can use the fourth 4.0 to our advantage. That is what we have to discuss. The challenges that we face, we have huge challenges. Right? Then the opportunities. So I will talk about 4.0. So 4.0 is nothing but enabling physical devices, cyber enabling physical devices. That's all, nothing else. We may say anything, but it is actually enabling your, like my, phone. All right, I have the phone. So I'm enabling these physical devices, right? I'm enabling cyber, enabling this. Let me go first, because cyber is also some wrong word, sometimes you may not think. So what we have done is, technically, we have given IoT, or we have given these physical objects the ability to talk while we are immobile. That's all. It enables people to communicate while immobile. So if I fix this in here, right, and wrap around, I become this number. Now it's coming, I'll explain to you. You'll be called actually by a number in future, right? Not the name. So this is, the world is moving on to that. So this is all what has done. So by having this facility, enabling physical objects with cyber capabilities, people started inventing a lot of things around it. So that is what we have to discuss today. How best that we or the region use this. If I explain a little bit, IoTs, you know, Internet of Things, nothing but simple logic. AI, artificial intelligence, nothing but simple. People put their, right, have simulations, and I'll explain later, right, virtual reality. These are things that we are now talking about. So if I say my topic, if you give me the opportunity to talk about my topic, I would say it is actually technology convergence. Economic prosperity through technology convergence. That's all what we have to talk. We are bound. We have a huge responsibility to make our region, our country, boost our economy using technology diffusion. So your topic is that actually. So how should we do it? We have many systems because we have seminars on artificial intelligence, dedicated seminars, we have on IoTs, we have on 3D, we have on digital printing, so it goes on and on. But how do we convert these things? Let me take a simple example. The best is actually, if you really analyze this convergence of technology is your mobile phone. Photography, your voice, video, whatnot has been converged into this particular small instrument. So this is an example. But let me take another example. Take a drone. If you have a drone, there are many types of drones now, but you have a drone, and if someone gives you a drone, what would you do? Obviously, it will become a drone as it is only a toy. Right? You will send it up, bring it up, right? Watch it. But drone with a camera, would give you more advantages, because then you can see what is happening around, and then you can decide. Police are doing that today, traffic, they watch the camera. But if you build AI into the road, if you build artificial intelligence into the road, if you have a process inside the road, then you are converging technology. So if I give a small example, take the tea plantation. Today, thousands of acres, thousands and thousands of acres of wheat in these developed countries. I think even Pakistan, you all have large extents of wheat. India, you have hundreds of, I think, miles away. It's not technically possible to identify some of these, diseases. So even in Sri Lanka, the same thing happened very recently. When I am confronted, by the way, I am a farmer by profession, and I still say that's my first job. When you go to farming, you see a yellow patch. But our farmers go and spread all the 10 acres with insecticide. You see a yellow area, lack of nitrogen. Then they spread urea or ammonium sulfate into the whole thing. So this is what we have to do. Focus using technology. Focus using the products of 4.0 into the well-being of man. So if you really take the plantation areas, we don't have large plantations like in Pakistan, India, or for that matter, Canada, USA. So, but the large plantations are mostly tea plantations. So it's a hill climb. It's very difficult to put organic fertilizer into this tea plantation. It's a tough thing. Urea is so easy. You just spread like this. But of course, taking tons of organic fertilizer into these areas in a slope one, it's extremely difficult. So sometimes, lack of information. In the past, Sri Lanka tried to do it and we failed. So now, if you have a drone camera with infrared and identification and a process built on that, the drone will tell you, look here, my friend, this is exactly the disease that you have here. This is the area out of 1,000 acres, only 3 acres you have to put in insecticide. This is what you have to do. So the drone is becoming intelligent. So that is what you call the technology, convergence of technology. That is what you saw. So this is why I'll tell you, doctor, if you are talking about ITI, your standard way of looking into ITI research is not useful anymore. You have to converge with other technologies. Hard physical R&D is not what we want. Analyzing the microplastics is just information. We need it, but that's the information. What do you do with it is the most important thing. So today, IT has become a common platform. Please understand. Today, the world is talking about IT infrastructure. My good friends here, UN, World Bank, and all the organizations are moving into IT infrastructure support. So you have to think of your policies now. You have to think differently. SLSI has to think differently. ITI has to think differently. So this is exactly, as the secretary, what I'm trying to do. So as I told you, 4.0, there's nothing called 4.0. People will not agree with me, but that's the truth. 4.0 is good as what it can deliver. We are talking about 5.0. We are talking about 6.0 now. These are good things because some scientists, especially IT guys, we like these wonderful words and jargon, you know. So don't get worried with the IT guys. Where we try to confuse you all. Very easy also. Right? When I go for the secretary's meeting, I can confuse all the people. Right? And also no one asked me also, fortunately. So I can say anything and get out. But in the art research, art sciences, they can question you. But no one really asked me, not even the media. So I'm lucky. I throw some technical words and they are option. But actually, IT delivery should be extremely simple. If a complex problem is a normal standard thing, if you are giving a complex solution to a complex problem, then you are not a good scientist. Right? So we have to give very simple solutions. Let me briefly tell you for interest of all, very briefly, what we have been doing in the last 1 year, 2 months. Well, this ministry is a very young ministry, just formed about 1 year, 2 months ago. And I was asked to get the ministry as a secretary. Let me think, there are 11 organizations coming under the ministry. They are all very, very important organizations. ITI, Sri Lanka Standard Institute, Sri Lanka Telecom, Sri Lanka Mobiles, CERT, ICTA, the ID department, so it's very TRCSL, the Regulatory Commission. So I have a huge amount of organization on my plate. What we have done, I'll briefly explain. When we went to this, as you advised me, thankfully, and the book that you gave me, I will be very happy to read it and get your experience and your knowledge into these models. I firmly believe that we each can help a lot each other. What are the major hindrances or major challenges in this whole technology diffusion was the non-ability to identify a person. Each person would have been identified as 5, 10 people. Each person could get 5 ID cards and 5 passports. So none of our thinking of working with apps in the distance in 4.0 on the wireless or on the air couldn't work without identification. When I speak to you over the phone, when I'm communicating with you, I should know this doctor, especially you ITI head is talking to me. If that is not possible, it's going to be a huge problem and the whole system will not work. So we decided to build a unique digital ID for Sri Lanka. For 22 years, we have done it right, failed, but we decided, and we are happy to say everything is in place, money is there. We are bringing even a company, an international company, to manufacture the ID card and the passports and the security certificates in Sri Lanka. So this ID card would have all 10 fingerprints. It will carry the iris. You cover your face, I don't care, I can recognize you from here. And then we are having the iCarlo standard face. You just take it, I just come in front of you, keep it, I know who you are. But of course, when you are doing such thing, as you rightly said, sir, thank you for your advice. The legal infrastructure should be in place. Because we are going to take biometrics. So the law does not allow us to do it, the Sri Lankan law. So we went back to 1936 laws and put a huge law in, and I went and changed all the possible places that it should change. So last week, we are the first in the region to come out with the private Data Protection Act, which was passed last week. We are coming with the cyber law, cyber act, into the parliament. Again, we are going to computerize the whole 360 courthouses in Sri Lanka. Again, a first. Everyone seated here today, if you want, you can connect to your court case being here. So the judge would be the only person there. The accused and the police and everyone would be in their own places. A reality that people didn't believe. We have done the tender, we have ordered the tender, we have started the project. Every courthouse will be transparent. Every court proceeding would be recorded voice as well as video. Because we all know in the SAARC region, the threats that we are getting. We have been called for FR, fundamental rights. But we are much better than most of the developed world. I have lived in developing world. I work for a developing world company. But we are being accused. So we want to prove that we are far better than you. So we are bringing transparency. As far as education is concerned, as you rightly said, we are going to bring education through the links that we are building. Another first in the world, all 10,250 schools will be connected with fiber within a year, within 10 months. Already started that project. Every school would have fiber. We have already started laying. It's a huge cost. These are not fancy things. These are things that we have done and we can prove. Every Grama Niladhari, that is the village headman. We have 25,000 villages in Sri Lanka. We have 14,000 village headmen, Grama Niladhari, the smallest administrative. Everyone is being given a laptop to coordinate and collect the data. So these are things that we as a small country, within 1 year and 2 months, we have done this. So schools, universities, we are all converging them into one area. This is what 4.0 means. Please understand. It's not a word, right? So the 4.0 layer has given us the opportunity to do all that. So we are taking the opportunities, the challenges. Of course, we have a lot of challenges, right? The social media is a challenge, but we don't want to stop it. We want to give liberty, but people are misusing it, right? You know about it, but once his family is being misused only, he comes and cries to me because I'm in charge of the DRC. He comes and worships me and asks me to take the daughter's photo out of it, right? Or his family photo out. Only then they come. They don't know the challenges that they can face. You can ruin a family. You can ruin a person with social media. So we should have rules. You all should support us. The politicians should support us. Politicians have come and knelt near me, I will tell you, to remove some of their clips. But I can't say, but they talk big at the parliament. Right? So these are things that is happening. So we have to ensure that this happens to all the people homogeneously. We should have systems. As he rightly said, we should have these legal frameworks in place. Otherwise, people could really exploit this, the good things, and we can interpret in the bad way. Finally, I'll talk about some of the things that we are doing, and I also need your support. We are an industry, the IT industry is the 5th largest industry in Sri Lanka. When all the industries didn't do well, our IT BPM industry had a 17% growth. It did extremely well. If we do $10 billion, we can do 10 billion. India is planning $800 billion in 2030. 800 billion. If we can get 10% out of it, we all are rich with all the top acres and houses. 10%. Right? So we are just trying 10 billion, which we are very strongly determined. Every person's life would become better. So in order to do that, we are establishing 5 technoparks in the country. These technoparks should be in Nuwara, Kandy, Kurunegala, Galle, and Habara. We are trying to cover the whole Sri Lanka. I will let you know, very honestly, that these technoparks, these type of technoparks are not available anywhere else in the world. I have traveled personally and visited 31 technoparks. And I will very briefly mention about the technoparks. These technoparks are not IT parks first. Nanotechnology, biotechnology, ITIs, SLSI, all these guys, universities, university professors, R&D, COEs, all this will be incorporated. Let me take one example. Tea has been brewed the same way for 150 years. We are going to do research through Nano to brew tea in a better way in 3 days. We are starting a concept called Blue Train. A Blue Train which is completely refrigerated, already started. The British gave us the facility to bring all the flowers, the vegetables, the fruits, and all the things through train. We have stopped it, we are not using. Now we are trying. We are re-establishing with a Blue Train by the Ministry of Technology. This Blue Train will come in the line transporting all these goods under refrigeration. So, in the technopark, why must I say it's very unique? Because these technoparks are going to be like a home for the people. They will have all the technical facilities like 5G, the fiber optic. I don't mind the grid, the power cut for 365 days. The technopark will function without 1 second dropping. We will have our own transformers inside, even the transformers, the generators, the UPSs will have. We'll have all fiber optic and 5G. We'll have 24 hours, 365 days working, not 1 minute closed. Every park will have a different ambience. The Kandy Park, which is next to the world famous golf course. One would go to the golf course, play golf in the afternoon during, and come and work in the night in the park. One would come to Colombo. We have established a domestic wing for airport. One would come there, go to Tigana, where we are building a runway, have a beer at the golf course, right? This is the reality. This is what the people want, the foreigners. We are trying to stop this. We'll never go far. You go to golf, you have a different way. You go to Nuwara, we are revitalizing the horse racing. We are revitalizing the Margaskota hill climb, and we are building 100 chalets for all technology people to live and taste and work. Every technopark would have a swimming pool, would have a gym, would have a 3D cinema hall, would have walking tracks, would have running tracks, and also meditation centers and yoga centers. You see, India, 28% of the IT people like me are big talk, right? So you have to do. I do yoga every day. I do my meditation every day. That's how I keep at least like this, right? In the morning and evening, right? You work 14 hours at least. So you have to keep fit. right? So I am putting all, we are going to have a creche for babies. So mother who's feeding the child does not have to worry. This is exactly the company I work, IFS. We all have these feature facilities at IFS, right? So all this is going to be very further, the biggest advantage. If one comes and joins Technopark, he can stay 3 months in Valeria, another 3 months in Goa, the other 4 months in somewhere else. So remember, the Technopark, though located in 5 locations, would be one logical unit. And further, we are going to build a concept called virtual customers. They don't have to even come to Sri Lanka to be a customer of Technopark. So these are all being done with convergence of technology. So we are going into a huge technology drive. And as at ITI, I kindly ask you to think this way, because ITI would have a huge role to play. Even the local industry, like the famous clay industry, we are still not using clay as it should be. Api, single if I say, right? Now, if you go to Canada or same places, some of these are $50 made out of clay. So this is a transformation we should do by technology. So this is exactly what we are. I'm kindly requesting ITI and all the other researchers who are in the distinguished guests here. We can do it and we are doing it, and I would greatly appreciate your ideas, suggestions. We are very open, and I wish you all the very best for these sessions, and hopefully we can make Sri Lanka a better country. Thank you very much.
So thank you very much, sir, for educating talk on how the perspectives of a developing country can be affected by the fourth industrial revolution. So it is my privilege to introduce the second speaker of session 1. So please welcome Mr. Alexis Sauroso to talk about digital transformation and fourth industrial revolution for competitiveness. Mr. Alexis Sauroso is currently serving as the Industrial Development Officer at UNIDO headquarters, Vienna, Austria. He obtained his master's degree in engineering from Bauman Moscow State Technical University and second master's in international business management from UK. He will be giving his talk online.
Excellencies, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, good morning from Vienna, Austria, UNIDO headquarters. And it is my distinct honor and pleasure to be delivering a presentation on behalf of UNIDO. Thank you so much, Honorable Secretary De Silva, for such an inspiring presentation. And I will try to provide the view that UNIDO has on the topic of the fourth industrial revolution. Okay, my presentation today, let me share the screen. Okay. Okay, my presentation today will aim to provide a brief overview of the fourth industrial revolution, its implications for industrial development, especially in industrializing economies. If you Is the presentation coming all right? Because I cannot see it from my screen, unfortunately. Oh yeah, first of all, let's look at what we see as the fourth industrial revolution here in Vienna to ensure we have all a common understanding of this industrial paradigm. And I will then move on to exploring briefly the interlinkages between the fourth industrial revolution, technologies, and competitiveness. In addition to that, today I would like to draw your attention to various tools that we here in UNIDO use to leverage and promote the fourth industrial revolution, helping our distinguished member states to succeed in implementation these technologies with the final goal or ultimate goal to help them benefit from the fourth industrial revolution technology, and essentially to make sure that the fourth industrial revolution works for all. Finally, at the end of my presentation, I would like to share my thoughts on the road ahead with regards to the 4IR adoption, especially in the post-pandemic world. Okay, so what is 4IR? The first three industrial revolutions, of course, have transformed the global manufacturing scene to what we witness in most economies across the world. However, some economies are more advanced than others. And the fourth industrial revolution is characterized, as Secretary De Silva pointed, by the convergence of cyber physical systems and technologies with traditional manufacturing processes. This revolution leverages data collection and analysis to allow for greater control of industrial processes, provides for flexibility, and allows for greater customization. Looking to the future and beyond the fourth industrial revolution, there is the concept of fifth industrial revolution, as Secretary De Silva noticed, or Society 5.0, where the mix or diffusion between people and technology is even deeper. However, this is not the topic of my presentation, but if you'd like, we can discuss it during questions and answers. The key here is the understanding that technological revolutions through history have resulted in countries being divided into leaders and followers. And it is generally observed that it is industrialized economies are the ones that are, if you'd like, pushing the envelope for industrial revolutions. Key technologies that define four industrial revolutions, as we see it from here, and which I'm sure many of you already heard of, include, but not limited to, artificial intelligence, big data, blockchain, robotics, and Internet of Things, which are all cyber-physical in nature. The 4IR provides sectors with access to the following benefits. First, economically, the 4IR offers opportunities to increase productivity and enhance quality control, and inherently requires enterprises to go digital if they are ready. Then second, socially, if for industrial revolution ecosystem is established and implemented properly, there are opportunities for new employment. And this is one of the questions that's probably being around for quite some time right now also. What about employment? What about jobs? Will they be lost? Will they be transferred? But if we do it properly, and this is something that our analysis is showing, the employment will be generated, especially for marginalized communities. And through the following stages, it will allow for the development of knowledge society. And third, benefit environmentally, due to the technological foundation of the fourth industrial revolution, there are great linkages to the circular economy. And this paradigm offers all access to new avenues to reduce emissions, as well as promote better waste management. But how do we get there? And now we're ready to go to this next frontier. we say that to achieve a successful transition to the fourth industrial revolution, a bridge comprising of the following aspects must be built. And it doesn't matter what the stage of industrial development the country is in right now. First of all, skills, people, this is the key. They are the main actors, they bring the value, they realize and make it all happen. Countries must educate their people, their citizens on the knowledge and skills to effectively leverage technologies and business models associated with the fourth industrial revolutions, to make use of them and use them properly to create value. Second, partnerships. Some countries are ahead of others in their journey to the fourth industrial revolution, and therefore partnerships must be established to ensure exchange of best practices. The best practices taken from the leading countries that can be replicated in industrializing economies. And from UNIDO's point of view, the implementation of dedicated technological cooperation projects can greatly accelerate the transition to the 4IR, and this is what we're here for. We stand ready to help you. Third, policies and policy frameworks. From a government point of view, it is important that they have access to correct data and trends to develop effective policy. They, or governments, have to see what they're dealing with, have to monitor, and have to make informed information-backed and data-backed decisions. It will all allow for a conducive 4IR ecosystem to be established. But we're talking about transition, we're talking about the 4IR as of something from the future, but is already happening. The 4IR is not a concept of the future as such. It is happening right now, and this slide aims to demonstrate the various initiatives implemented by countries to catalyze the industrial sectors. Transition to the new paradigm, as my managing director, Mr. Kazadila, mentioned before in the video address. What I'm driving at here is inspiration can be taken from these programs to develop new initiatives in other countries. We need to partner, we need to establish partnerships, we need to talk in, we need to establish the best practices to be transferred to the developing countries. Then competitiveness. When we looked at developing the presentation for today, I looked at the competitiveness as it was defined before the COVID-19, but what struck me, of course, is that we can look at the COVID-19. The pandemic itself is an ultimate challenge and test for competitiveness. How companies in different countries met the challenges of the pandemic and how they accepted the challenge, how they strived to stay afloat, what were the answers, and how they are recovering right now. The COVID-19 pandemic was or is, of course, an unforeseen challenge that the international community countries had to address. At the height of the pandemic in 2020, global gross domestic product has been the lowest in 70 years, according to International Monetary Fund. The pandemic has accelerated unemployment, especially in developing countries, with more than 200 million full-time jobs lost, according to International Labour Organization. Then poverty rates. They were falling before the pandemic, but the pandemic has exacerbated this trend, and approximately 97 or around 100 million people are projected to be living in poverty as the consequence of this crisis. The manufacturing sector was not immune to COVID-19, supply and demand chains being adversely impacted, of course. From a supply side, the pandemic resulted in loss of employment. So it's people, and people again, which in turn had a domino effect impacting business operations and disrupting global value chains activities. From the demand side, the pandemic brought about uncertainty across markets and therefore halted domestic investment, which in turn reduced industrial output in countries. The pandemic has shown us that our interconnected world is fragile, and it is necessary to increase the robustness of these connections in preparation for possible future challenges, possible future crises. Small and medium companies were significantly impacted, especially in developing countries. And our latest industrial development report 2022 found that firms operating in so-called robust industries were able to adjust to the pandemic due to the fact that they were essential for economic societal survival of the country. Our study also found that labor-intensive sectors, unfortunately, were not able to adapt properly to the new reality, and it all resulted in low sales, low profits, and unfortunately, loss of employment. What we saw is low digitalization was a key attribute of why small and medium enterprises could not adjust rapidly to that external shock. What we saw is, if we look ahead, it is important to recognize that increased investment in the manufacturing sector can support COVID-19 recovery efforts. Manufacturing is a large contributor to essential infrastructure and services, can provide access to products and services that aid efforts to combat crisis, of course. Examples are personal protective equipment to combat the transmission of COVID-19, as we all saw, but this is among health professionals. By reassessing where investments are required and to improve sectoral robustness, manufacturing services can be adapted accordingly to achieve strategic objectives in a sector. Now let's look at the digitalization as source of robustness or source of competitiveness, if you'd like. From a supply side, digitalization is imperative to restore and supply and demand value chains, especially in the developing economies. From a supply side, examples of how digitalization can support those efforts, we can name integration of technologies in a firm to allow for remote factory management, leveraging these technologies to create new products and services. For example, additive technology, so-called 3D printing, to create customized products for markets. Equipping managers and employees with digital skills, again, that's people, and people, to enhance their productive capacity, to help them create more value. From a demand side, examples are developing digital platforms, say, that allow for greater flexibility with respect to trade of goods and services. Then leveraging data analytics to meet customer demands and different technological solutions to react to demands as quickly as possible, to become fast and flexible. The COVID-19 pandemic has become an unexpected accelerator for digital transformation as we saw it. This is a unique opportunity. We can see this crisis as a window to give us this option, if you'd like, to realign our industrial priorities. And this is why UNIDO is leveraging this opportunity to make the case for the moving towards the fourth industrial revolution and to help our member countries to do that. Let's look at how we are helping our member states. First, of course, technical cooperation. This is the key of UNIDO's efforts to promote the fourth industrial revolution in our member states in development and implementation of technical cooperation projects together with partners, donors, and specialists from across the globe. This project that I put here is a project where supported by Mexico to establish a 4IR shop floor in their automotive sector. The interesting thing is at this project, UNIDO was engaged in all stages of implementation. The organization was involved in providing training, so skills and people, as I said earlier, development of platforms, applying standards, so normative work, and acting as a matchmaker among different stakeholders. Second, how we can help. Our research and analytics. UNIDO is also engaged in research and analytical work to support governments in developing policy frameworks to accelerate the transition to 4IR. As I already mentioned, our latest industrial development report is dedicated to providing an analysis on the future of industrialization in the post-COVID world, and I highly recommend it. It's a great publication. We also have an industrial analytics platform that is a one-stop hub to access the latest industrial manufacturing data. Third, knowledge and training. UNIDO is committed to supporting our beneficiaries, stakeholders, member states to gain access to the relevant skills and knowledge to take advantage of the fourth industrial revolution paradigm. For that, we have a dedicated knowledge hub that has free training courses on a variety of topics of the 4IR, like basics of industry 4IR or e-commerce or impact investment. Another signature initiative is our learning and knowledge development facility, where UNIDO works with the private sector, and this partnership is crucial to develop and implement tailored skills development programs across countries. But we cannot do it alone. We do it in partnerships with, as I said, the private sector. UNIDO cannot accelerate the transition to the 4IR with no supporting partners. And at this end, we are continuously expanding the circle of our partnership network to ensure we can leverage synergies to maximize this impact. Okay, so where do we take it from here to make sure that 4IR works for all? I'd say that we need to concentrate on three major branches or three major factors that would eventually support the implementation of technologies, make sure that the benefits can be reaped from them. First, digital infrastructure, and my distinguished colleagues before me already talked about it. This is a foundational services that are necessary to the information technology capabilities of a nation, region, city, organization. By extension, digital infrastructure is necessary to the economy and quality of life of a modern nation. You have to have the connectivity. You have to have the access to the internet. You have to have the affordable communication. And as we move through the technological development, more and more ideas and more solutions are appearing that can help us bring the connectivity to the parts of the world that didn't have that, which is, from my point of view, is just amazing. Then education and skills, people. Here, general recommendations from my point of view is, of course, from organizational point of view, is first to develop the roadmap of key sectors where the skills have to be implemented. Develop the set of industry-led programs targeting skills for 4IR. It has to be done in partnership with the private sector. Then strengthening the quality assurance mechanisms for training institutions and employers' opinions. Again and again, it has to be done in partnership. We can then implement the 4IR technologies to upgrade the training delivery in classrooms and training facilities, at least equipping them with the basic computer literacy skills necessary to excel in the future economy. And then last but not least, again and again, digital cooperation. UNIDO is actively ensuring that we leverage our own, like Global Manufacturing Industrial Summit, or our networks of ITPOs and external convening platforms to foster digital cooperation. And we invite you to join us. And in conclusion, if there is one thing that I'd like you to leave, I'd like to leave you with today, let it be this. We need to put people at the core and engage in digital cooperation to make the fourth industrial revolution work for all. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir, for your informative presentation. The next speaker of this session is Mr. Azhar Ziaur Rahman, Member, Presidential Committee on Emerging Technologies, Government of Pakistan, Pakistan. First, I would like to give a brief introduction about our speaker. Mr. Azhar is a member of the Presidential Committee on Emerging Technologies, Government of Pakistan. He is the author of a book named Technology Governance Concepts and Practices, which provides insight into managing and governing Industry 4.0 in business. He has also been an international keynote speaker on Fourth Industrial Revolution, Transformation, SDGs, Disruptive Technologies, Intelligent Transport Systems, Smart Cities, Information Security, and Compliance Management. He has also formed a new term called Digiformation. I cordially invite Mr. Azhar to address the gathering about the fourth industrial revolution opportunity for risk.
You have a mic that you can carry away? You have a mic that can carry along? No? Thank you very much. Opportunity or risk? By the way, you are lucky to have a secretary who really knows what he's talking about. Usually, bureaucrats don't know what to talk about. So it's a pleasure to discipline to know that what you've been doing for 14 months. Next slide, please. Okay. Dr. Klaus Schwab, he has written 2 books which are considered to be the Bible of the fourth industrial revolution. This is one of the books. The other book I talk about tomorrow and the day after. So what does he say next? He says that this revolution is fundamentally changing the way we live, work, and relate to one another. So it's not only technology, it's not sociology, it's not a social effect of the fourth industrial revolution. In its scale, scope, and complexity, it is unlike anything humankind has ever experienced before. So it is not technology, it is much more than technology. It is affecting everything that we have done so far. Please. Now this change that it is bringing is so profound that there has been never been a time of greater promise or potential peril. So you've got 2 options. Either you take up the promise part or you take up the peril part. It's up to you. And that is why I chose this topic. That it is up to us that we convert this opportunity to a promise, the secretary said, to improve the lifestyle of the people, or we can just give up and the peril. Next. Next, yeah. No, go to the last one. There's one before. Yeah. So what does he say? What's the solution? He says that the problem is that the decision makers are caught in traditional linear thinking. You need non-traditional thinking, you don't have to think immediately. Or they are too absorbed by immediate concerns, and therefore they don't think strategically. What are the immediate concerns? You're having demonstrations in Colombo. Similar demonstrations we have in Islamabad also, in India also. In many countries around the world, we are having similar demonstrations. Why? Because the jobs are not there. The jobs which were there are vanishing. But new jobs are coming up. The government is not doing strategic thinking. They're not thinking about the forces of disruption and innovation. That's what they should be doing. They're concentrating on the immediate problems, how to suppress the demonstrations around the world. They're not analyzing what are the forces of disruption and what are the forces of innovation that we should be taking up. So that is the challenge that Dr. Shaw is identifying. Next. Okay, so the 4 points that we come out with are that traditional thinking will not work. You need people who think out of the box. Non-disruptive thinking is not the solution. You have to have disruptive thinking. You have to go in for constructive disruption. You disrupt everything and then build everything from scratch, from the ruins. The third is that the immediate concerns are not important. The immediate concerns are there, the people who are there on the streets demonstrating, that is not the concern. The concern is what will these people be doing 5 years from now? What jobs will we have in place for them? Because their jobs will go. The secretary was talking about automation. Because of that automation, a lot of jobs will just vanish. So what will these people be doing then? That is the concern, not how to handle them today. Strategic thinking is needed about the force of disruption and innovation for the future. That is what is needed, and that is what the secretary talked about, that what they're doing. Next. What is this? Can anybody guess what is this? People who learn typing the hard way will next. Have you heard of the sentence? Yes. It is used to learn typing because it has all the alphabets. So the quick brown fox jumps over the lazy dog. Who is the quick brown fox? Who is the lazy dog? And what is the jump? This is the whole industrial revolution. Who is the lazy dog? The lazy dog is the government. The lazy dog is the people who don't know that what is going to hit them. The lazy dog are the people who don't realize that they're going to lose their jobs. The lazy dog are the people who don't know what technology is going to do with them. Lazy dog are the people, are the industry in the private sector who are very happy that they're making money, but they don't realize that tomorrow they will not be making money. So that is the lazy dog. Who is the quick brown fox? The quick brown fox are the people who have technology. People are the people who are applying the technology. They are the industry who are utilizing the technology. They are the people who are transforming themselves and their industries to be able to jump. Now, what is jump? Jump is the transformation. Transformation, the word itself talks about transformation. Converting from something to something. So the 3 things important. Where are you? What we call the as is. To the to be, where you want to be. So you have to realize what you are, what is wrong with you, where you want to be, in how much time, and then you have to decide about the jump. How will you make this jump? So these 3 things, next. So these 3 things are very important. The quick brown fox, you have to realize who is the quick brown fox, what is wrong with the quick brown fox, what are the underlying strengths in the quick brown fox, what are the weaknesses of the quick brown fox, what the quick brown fox is doing wrong. They may be doing something wrong. What is that? Next is the lazy dog. Who is the lazy dog? What is the weakness of the lazy dog? And how can you wake him up? And how can you make the quick brown fox next? So that's the challenge. Next. Okay. You have to help the quick brown fox become even quicker. Become quicker in a productive way. Do the jump in a more efficient manner. Do the jump using more technologies or less technologies as the case may be. For example, in Sri Lanka, you may not always go for automation, the right level of automation. Next, you have to wake up the lazy dog. It's not only the government, it's also the private sector who don't realize what their weaknesses are, who don't realize that they will not be there. They may be making good profits today, but they may not be making profits tomorrow. So they have to be woken up. And the third one is, next. Control the jump and convert the peril into the opportunity. That is the challenge. And these three are the challenges that you have to help the quick brown fox, you have to help the lazy dog, and you have to help the jump. Now, we'll be talking about this, how to do this day after tomorrow in a session, we'll have a 2-hour session. We will be dealing with the details of this in that session. I think that's the last slide, isn't it? That was what I was, very brief. Any questions you can discuss?
What is the biggest challenge for countries like Sri Lanka?
The biggest challenge for countries like Sri Lanka is, as the secretary said, can you go back? Okay. Sri Lanka has got a lot of technology people worldwide. Bring them back, and that is what the secretary also mentioned, that you utilize them. The challenge is how to make the jump in the tea industry, how to make the jump in the jewelry industry that they have, how to use the right level of technology. For example, in the tea industry, you've already automated the picking, right? The picking is automated. You have to pick either the bud and the 2 leaves or the 3 leaves or the 1 leaf. How can you automate that even better? How can you sift the tea leaves and the bud to make it the tea even better quality? As the secretary said, how can you use Sophia's technology of IoT for in the tea garden? Because the tea gardens are all about healing. IoT is something which will be very useful. So for Sri Lanka, the challenge is all three. How to utilize the technology they have, how to bring in more technology, how to utilize the technology synergetically in synergy, and to wake up the government. The Ministry of IT has done a lot of things in 14 months. That's not enough. The whole of the government has to be woken up and transformed in sync with what the Ministry of IT is doing, otherwise it will not work. And that's true in a country.
So thank you, sir, for a factual talk on opportunities and risks of fourth industrial revolution. So our next speaker is Dr. Nisha Amundilekar. So she's a research fellow and the director of research at Institute of Policy Studies, Sri Lanka. She will be talking about fourth industrial revolution and the Sri Lankan labour market. Prior to that, I have a brief introduction about her. So Dr. Nisha Amundilekar holds a doctoral degree in economics from Duke University, USA. So we warmly welcome to do your talk online. Some information that she didn't hear on assets, so I will repeat that again. So our next speaker is Dr. Nisha Amundilekar. So she is a research fellow and the director of research at Institute of Policy Studies, Sri Lanka. Dr. Nisha Amundilekar holds a doctoral degree in economics from Duke University, USA. Today we're talking about fourth industrial revolution and the Sri Lankan labour market. We warmly welcome you to do your talk online. Can you hear me? Yes, well. Hello?
Yes,
Okay, we warmly welcome you for a talk.
okay. Thank you very much and good afternoon to everybody. So let me share my presentation. So I'll be talking about the fourth industrial revolution and the implications for the Sri Lankan labour market. I'll be specifically asking the question whether we are ready to face the fourth industrial revolution. As you all know that this industrial revolution is changing the way we live and work. This started several decades ago with development of the computers and digitization. And with that, the labor productivity improved tremendously and people were able to do tasks that they were doing manually very slowly in high speed. So this enabled actually development outside the computer sphere, and it went to artificial intelligence. Now you're talking about 3D printing. In some developed countries, they have developed driverless cars, genetics, robotics. So a lot of the work that were earlier done, taking a long time by people, are now done by machines or in different ways. So this has a lot of implications to how the labor market is working. Now, it has primarily affected the labor market in 3 different ways. It has changed the structure of the jobs, it has changed the demand for jobs, and it has changed the organization of work. So it is complete overhaul. Now, if you talk about the structure of jobs, my mother talks about when she was in high school, the greatest inspiration of girls at that time was to become typists and become a secretary. But now, today, we don't hear about typists at all because that job is now obsolete. Even if you are to be a secretary, several decades ago, you needed to be able to do typing and shorthand. But now you need to have a different set of skills. You need to be able to work using computers. You need to be able to send emails. You need to be able to do word processing on the computer. So the job has really changed over time. Not only that, there are new jobs that are created because of these industrial revolutions that are happening. For example, now the IT repair industry or mobile repair industry has increased over time. And then there are IT jobs, software, writing software, innovation with regard to computers. A lot of these kind of new jobs are coming into the market. Also now, because the earlier jobs that were done, the repetitive manual or repetitive cognitive jobs, like say even bank teller jobs, are now being done by machines like ATM machines. You need you need people to do more complex tasks like organizing certain things, creating, problem solving. So the types of skills that is being demanded by the new jobs that are coming into the market are also changing. Now, because the repetitive manual cognitive jobs that were earlier done by low-skilled workers are now being done by jobs, the new jobs ask for higher level of education, higher level of skills. So demand for mainly actually tertiary level jobs, it's changing. And along with that, actually what this the computerization and industrial revolution has done is, it has, through the internet, it has connected people across the world. So people now can do jobs being here in Sri Lanka. They can work for a company in another country without actually relocating to that country. They can also now do part-time jobs or task-based jobs, because I mean this idea of task-based jobs came into being partly because now you are not in location working. Your managers can't really supervise whether you are from 9 to 5, whether you're actually doing the work or you're doing something else. So because of that, rather than monitoring labor productivity using time, the managers have come up with these task-based jobs. So these are some of the ways that the labor market has changed because of the fourth industrial revolution. Now, there are some statistics on how exactly it is changing. The World Economic Forum 2020 said that 65% of present-day children will do jobs that are no longer in existence currently. So we actually don't know what kind of jobs they will be doing when they are adults. Closer to home in India, there was a survey done in 2017 on future of jobs in India survey. It predicted that of the jobs that existed in 2017, 9% of the jobs will be obsolete by today, 2022. And 37% of the jobs will have radically different skill requirements. What do you mean by radically different skill requirements? So even if you take the example of an auto car repair person, some decades ago, they learned these jobs on the skills on the job working in a garage. But today, a lot of the new cars that are coming into the market, they have computer parts, digital devices, and you hook the car up to a computer to figure out the faults. So actually, even to be a auto car repairman, you need to have some computer knowledge. So that's what is meant by the skill requirements have changed drastically. And one thing to note is that now earlier I said that this industrial revolution is changing the structure of the jobs, and some jobs have been going out of the labor market. So the jobs that are done by tertiary educated people are less likely to be obsolete than those that are done by lower skilled workers. So it's 5% versus 40%. So this graph shows there were some studies done in the United States about computerization or automation of jobs. And that basically looked at the different tasks done by workers in different occupations and industries. And they gave a probability of the likelihood of that job being computerized or being obsolete. So what we did at IPS is we assigned those probabilities to the jobs in Sri Lanka, because you can map the jobs in the US to the jobs in Sri Lanka using ICT codes, the occupation codes and industry codes. And then we try to see how the computerization is going to affect the job market in Sri Lanka. And what we find is obviously this will partly depend on the computerization, the infrastructure available, and access to that ICT infrastructure for the workers. But assuming that is the same, so we are looking into the future, what we found is actually even in Sri Lanka, we see the same results as the earlier mentioned surveys. We find that the jobs done by those with education level primary or below, or some secondary or even high schools completed, are more likely to be the probability of computerization of those jobs are very high. It's going from 0.6 to 0.8, but the jobs that are done by those with degrees or above, on average, the computerization is very low. It's around 0.1%. So with the, I mentioned the organization of jobs are also changing. And you know, the web-based workers, we call them the gig workers, platform-based workers, task-based workers, all these people have come into the labor market. You probably don't realize, but we use these kind of workers all the time. If you were to take a three-wheeler using this Pick Me Up, you are using a platform-based worker, or you can now order using Uber Eats. That is a service. You no longer need to go to a restaurant and wait in line to get your lunch. You can order using Uber Eats. That's a platform-based work. And also, even you're booking your accommodation, if you're on holiday, or even purchasing goods. In Sri Lanka, we have Bigman.lk. There are other Alibaba and other companies which provide these services online. So there are a lot, it has penetrated into all these different areas of industries. So it's not only changing the regular workers, it is actually also changing the self-employed and the entrepreneurs. So the number of pick-me drivers have increased, and because of the access to large markets through the internet, there are more people coming in, you know, the gig workers. Because earlier, I remember when the three-wheelers first came into Sri Lanka, you had to actually go to the road and flag down a three-wheeler to be able to go somewhere. But you no longer need to do that. You can using your smartphone, you can actually call them to where you are. So it is not only, and there are also all these young people or stay-at-home moms offering different kind of services, bakery products, goods, over the internet. So the work done by self-employed and entrepreneurs have also changed. So this is just a picture of how these things have worked. There are some platforms that are cloud-based works. So those are sometimes done by professionals, maybe working for call centers or BPO industry, or there are these gig work done by individuals, or you know, sometimes in like even gardeners or babysitters are being sourced using these platforms. So it is penetrated into all different industries. So how the main question I asked is, you know, all this time I was describing how the labor market is changing because of this industrial revolution and its impact on different industries. How the question I want to ask is, how ready are we in Sri Lanka? So actually, Sri Lanka identified the potential of the ICT and way back in 1990s. So telecommunication liberalization policy of 1990s was the main aim of that policy was to expand the ICT infrastructure. If you, some of you might remember, before that we had these analog phones. Even our mobile phones were analog. You could not do anything much other than take calls using those phones. But with the with this policy, we got access to Global System for Mobile Communication, GSM technology, which gave us voice and low-speed data. And from there, we have also developed the third generation, fourth generation. Now, actually, fifth generation is also being experimented in some parts in Sri Lanka. So we have access to very high-speed data in Sri Lanka, and that has enabled the types of services that you can access using smartphones. And the Information Communication Technology Act, ICTA, was came about in 2003. The main objective of that was to expand the ICT sector and related industries. With that, we have a lot of e-governance initiatives. Some of you might remember, even to get our driver's license, we had to put half days leave and go to a particular place and get it renewed. But now you can do it from your computer from wherever you are. So that is some of the services, the improvements that have come about because of this e-government initiatives. And along with that, there are 500 government organizations networked so that the services provided by these agencies can be improved. And ICTA has also played a major role in implementing laws that has facilitated the development of the ICT industry. For example, this spiralization was about startup accelerator programs. So it's about helping people to innovate or write software or apps, so to make use of these facilities. And then going beyond the computers and that area, this Slintech was created that was looking at using ICT for other services like science, technology, innovations. So with that, they also were instrumental in starting this nano fertilizer and other products. And then SLASCOM is a private sector-led initiative, which was mainly about IT business process management, because as I said, with the internet and access to jobs offshore, there was a lot of potential for these business process outsourcing industries and other types of industries. So SLASCOM was mainly put in place to facilitate that. So in 2016, so now we are answering this question I asked at the very beginning, are we ready? So in 2016, SLASCOM did a survey of the industries who were engaged in this ICT sector to ask the main challenges faced by them. And these are some of the answers that they gave. The reliable and cheap access to bandwidth, marketing their products when they innovate, and the high-tech affordable workplace. Now, in order to be working in the ICT sector, you need to be in offices which have easy access to bandwidth, and so the office space is also very important. Another main challenge is, as I said from the very beginning, the demand for skilled workers are increasing with the development of the industries driven by these technological changes. But if you look at the Sri Lanka, the skill profiles, you see that only 5.3% of the workers are tertiary educated, which is a big problem, because these are the ones that will have their jobs in a few years to come. And part of the reason is we don't produce many graduates, because we only produce some 26,000 graduates a year. And even then, even a lower number of science and technology graduates. So of these, the types of graduates who are doing science, computer science, engineering, that is also very low. As you can see, it is around 20% of the graduates are engaged in these kind of degrees, which can help, which can make use of these new technological changes that are happening. But on top of that, a lot of our the most skilled workers are migrating into other countries, partly because these other countries are also actively sourcing these workers, because they are also looking for talent because of this industrial revolution and the demand for skilled workers. They are also finding it difficult to meet the demand. So they are giving special visas to try to attract these skilled workers. And of course, the Sri Lankan market can't compete with the markets of the developing countries. We can't afford to pay the pays they're giving or provide lifestyles that are available in those countries, so a lot of the workers are leaving the country. And other than that, it is the type of skills. It's not only the degree that matters. It is also, as I said earlier, again, the new jobs that are coming up, it's about problem solving. It is about teamwork, creativity. So some of these new skills that are demanded by the new jobs that are coming up are not being are not there in the Sri Lankan graduates. So that is another problem that the industry is facing. So as I said earlier, so this Frey Osborne, I explained this earlier, that they did this study to give probabilities to different occupations. So we, at IPS, we mapped those probabilities to the Sri Lankan labor force survey data, and this is what we have found out. So as you can see, the jobs that are done by the managers and professionals are less likely to be computerized. Some jobs like technical associate professional jobs and service sales worker types of jobs, some jobs are can be computerized, some not. But a lot of these other work that are done by low-skilled workers, like skilled agricultural work, craft-related work, plant and machine operators, elementary occupations, all of that can be computerized. And also these low-skilled office work, white-collar, like clerks and clerical support workers, those kind of work can also be computerized. But if you look at the Sri Lankan labor force, a lot of the jobs, very few share of workers are in management jobs or professional jobs. A lot of the workers are in the lower end of the job market. So these are some of the, another problem that we face is even the people who have tertiary or level jobs are doing tertiary level degrees. They are doing jobs that don't really require tertiary level skills. So for example, because of these changes and the skill requirement changes that are happening in 2008, International Labour Organization changed the way they define skill. So they now define them according to the type of tasks that you need to do, type of education you need for doing a particular type of task. So for example, if you are a tertiary educated worker, or if you have a degree or a higher level of worker, you are supposed to be doing complex problem solving, decision making, creativity based, extensive type of work. But what you find is some of the, if you look at the Sri Lankan labor market, what you find is some of these workers at the degree level, they are performing tasks that actually only require maybe secondary level education. So a lot of our graduates sometimes join the public sector. They would rather work as clerks or low-skilled cognitive workers rather than be managers or high-skilled workers as well. So that is also a problem. So these are some of the actual numbers that we came up with in our study. I just wanted to share that with you. As you can see, these are probability of computerization. So these high-skilled workers, so skill levels 3 and 4. So this is tertiary level or just below tertiary level workers. You can see this occupation, 2-digit level occupation codes. So the probability of computerization of these jobs are very low. Surprisingly, or not so surprisingly, there are some jobs like personal care workers that can't be computerized, although it has a low skill level also. And here I have the share of the total employed in Sri Lanka. So as you can see, a very small percentage of the current labor force is engaged in these type of work. On the other hand, if you look at these highly jobs that have a high probability of being computerized, those are done by actually people with low skill levels. And some of these jobs have very high share, like sales workers, 6% of the labor market, or food processing kind of workers, that's another 6%. Mining, construction, 3%. So they have high share of the workers are working in those kind of jobs. So with the industrial revolution and the job market changing, these type of jobs are likely to get obsolete. So we really need to, in order to match skills to the demand of the market, we need to improve the education level and also the skills that are given to the students in the education. So in conclusion, as I showed you, the industrial revolution is really changing the way we work and the labor market, and we can actually gain a lot with from that in terms of productivity, efficiency. We can, or because now, recently because of COVID-19, a lot of workers are working from home. I mean, that was also facilitated because of these changes that happened because of the industrial revolution. And because of the flexibility, you can get more females to work, because there has been a persistent problem in Sri Lanka. We have a very low female labor force participation rate, and the efficiency can increase, and the cost of work can decrease if you were to work, and the infrastructure needed even for transport can be reduced because you will not be going around too much. That again, we experienced even the COVID-19, in the past 2 years. There was less congestion in the roads, so less wastage. So there's a lot of things to be gained by facilitating these kind of new jobs that are coming up. But in order to do that, we need to, already Sri Lanka has taken some policies to develop the ICT infrastructure and innovation. But I think because the technology is changing so fast, we need to keep up and keep investing in these areas. And mainly, I should emphasize, we need to invest in improving skills, because that's an area that we are really lacking behind. Thank you.
So please give a big hand. So thank you very much for explaining this speech on how Sri Lankan labor market is affected by the fourth industrial revolution. So now we take the time for the audience to raise questions. So if you have questions, so please raise your hand. We will come with the portable mic. Seems that there are no questions, so I thank you again, madam, for your speech. And now the next event is actually the lunch break. So all the guests are. Pardon? Pardon, sir? The chat box now will be questions. Okay, sure. So there is a pending question actually from the chat box, so you will have to wait for some time, madam.
There is a question on the chat box. Okay, question and answer. No questions. I don't see. Can you read it out? I don't see the question.
Sure, just a second, madam. Can you hear me, madam?
Yes, can hear.
Actually, madam, sorry for that. There are no questions from the audience or from the chat box. It's just
okay.
It's a sign only, I think. So you don't have to worry about it.
Okay.
Thank you again for our explanatory speech, and thank you very much for inviting us. Thank you very much.
Okay.
So the next part. So the next is the lunch break. So all guests are invited to the open area. So we will be starting the session 2 after the break around 2 o'clock. So there is in 1 hour time. So enjoy your lunch and be on time. Thank you so much. Please pay attention more. So the lunch will be continuing from 1 o'clock to 2:30 p.m. So you will have to be here in the auditorium by 2:30 p.m. according to the agenda. Thank you very much.